Welcome back to Renaissance Man Media, and I'm going to be doing my Octopussy review. That was the next movie in the Bond. I guess I could call this 25 Bond films in 25 days because I'm going to try to do one a day, once a day. Yeah, Octopussy. This is once again a movie that I'd never seen. I think I saw bits and pieces of this when I used to watch Spike TV, like I mentioned in the previous review. Octopussy, basically, Roger Moore's back. The movie starts out the opening title sequence, if that's what you want to call it, the pre-title sequence. He's going to recover an aircraft. It's a very small aircraft that I guess can go at high speeds. I'm not really sure what that whole. I think it's just a day in the life of Bond mission. I don't think it has anything to do with the actual plot. So he steals that aircraft, and then it goes into the title sequence, which was pretty boring. That song, All Time High, not very good. This is back-to-back Bond songs, All Time High, and then the one from For Your Eyes Only, which is called For Your Eyes Only. Those songs both are not good to me, especially as Bond songs. They don't work. Okay, and then we go into the next part of the movie. A clown is being chased from Berlin, basically, from a circus. He gets a knife thrown in his back by these two twins, the circus twins. Yeah, and that's 009 apparently, and he drops an egg, and then the egg has some Russian history that it used to be in the Russian family. It's a priceless art, not priceless, but it has a price. It's an artifact, and basically then that goes up for auction, and they bring in James to talk about whether it's the real one or it's a fake or whatever. I'm not the plot on this movie. Like I said, For Your Eyes Only, that the plot. What I liked about it was fairly simple. This one. It's not the most complicated plot, but at the same time, you at a certain point, I just lost track because they don't fully explain things. They'll just be like, jump from one thing to another and hope you catch everything. There's some double crossing in this movie. Basically, I just want to go into like the characters that I liked and what worked for me and then what didn't work for me because I don't really want to just do a plot rundown. Octopussy is the name of the film. That's the name of the Bond girl / maybe she's a villain. You're not entirely sure at first. She's played by Maud Adams, who did The Man with the Golden Gun, which is a really weird thing for me. I personally don't like that when you recast the same actor as a different character. I don't like that in series franchises because I feel like it's very confusing for the audience. And it's like, you're telling me there's no one else you could have got to do that part. Okay. That being said, she does do a lot better job in Octopussy because Man with the Golden Gun, I've seen the first half of it, and I think I fell asleep or got bored. And like I said, I need to rewatch that one. That'll be going on at some point. But yeah, I thought she did a good job. The chemistry she had with Roger Moore as James was really good. The action pieces in this movie, pretty good, pretty good. There's a final like plane sequence where James has to rescue her. She's on a plane. The bad guy, well, there's two bad guys. There's Steven Berkoff, who plays a general for the Soviet Union. I didn't really care for his character at all. I thought he was way over the top, and not in a good way. Like certain actors, you can go over the top, and like Javier Bardem in Skyfall, he's a little over the top, but I feel like it works with his character because it's like this guy had something wrong with him, like something's off the whole time, and that's probably why he got into this position. With Steven Berkoff, I just was like, your acting doesn't really make sense. But apparently people love him. I don't know. The other guy, Luis Jordan, he played, what's the guy's name? Here, I'm gonna minimize this real quick so I can make sure I got his name. Kamal Khan, that's the character's name. Okay, I did like him as a bad guy actually a lot. I thought he was pretty good. You see him first at the auction that they go to, and James does a quick thing where he switches out the fake one with the real one. So basically, the fake one is the one that gets auctioned, and he has the real one. I thought that his because Kamal Khan, you basically just see him in that scene, but you don't really interact with him a whole lot. And then James goes to India, and he goes to a casino, and Kamal Khan's there, and they start gambling. I think they're playing Bakugan, or I think that's what it's called. I've never gambled doing that one, but there's a really cool thing where the guy's kind of cheating using a loaded dice, and I guess if you get double sixes, you win. And he's always getting double sixes when he needs it. And James is like, "Well, let me use your dice." And he's like, "Oh, what a surprise! Double sixes." I really like that scene. And Roger Moore's James Bond's wearing the white tuxedo. I think that looks good because Connery rocked the white tuxedo and Goldfinger, so I think it's a good look. And yeah, the environment, like I said, a lot of it's in India. I thought it was pretty good. The MI6 special secret layer in India was cool. Q had some cool stuff in there as well. So yeah, like I said, pros, the action of this movie is pretty good. Cons, the plot is a little all over the place. I think at a certain point, it's not worth all your investment, I guess, is like your brain having to keep track of all this stuff. It's not worth all that. So overall, I'd have to give Octopussy, I'd give it, once again, like I gave like For Your Eyes Only, I'd give it a guilty pleasure where, because it's Bond, like I'll watch it. But if you're asking me, like, do I think a non-Bond fan really like should go out of their way to watch Octopussy? No, it's got some good stuff. The henchmen are actually the henchman. I forgot the guy's name, but he's a Indian guy, pretty strong, crushes dice with his hands. He was a good henchman. I don't know. I keep hoping because, like I said, these were two of the Roger Moore films that I'd never seen, and I kept hoping like, okay, well, people talk about these, like hopefully there's like some good stuff in there. And there was some good stuff, but just not enough for me to like put highly in my Bond rankings. Like I said, I'll get to where I actually place these in my Bond rankings, but they're not. I don't see these cracking my top 10. So anyway, I think that's everything. Yeah, he stops. Oh, I will say this. Another thing I liked. James at the end has to dress up like a clown to kind of, because he's on like an Air Force base in Germany. He has to get past the security and they're looking for him. So anyway, he dresses up as a clown, but then he goes into the circus and there's a bomb that's armed to like a cannon basically for the circus, and he has to disarm it. And there's something, I don't know, it does, I know it sounds probably stupid, but it does feel like a spy movie to me, where like the complete opposite of a serious spy and a clown, like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So there's something cool about seeing James in clown makeup, like basically telling them, hey, there's a bomb in there, and they're like, haha, yeah, of course, whatever, haha. And he's like, no, seriously. And he's like, I'm a member of Secret Service. I thought that was cool. So I guess I would have liked a little bit more of that. Roger Moore was not as serious as he was in the previous film, For Your Eyes Only, in this one, because it's just not as serious of a plot. Some ways that works, and in other ways it doesn't. So yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, I'd give it a guilty pleasure. And so the next movie that I'll be doing in the 007 series is Die Another Day. Now, I'll have a lot to say about Die Another Day. Like I said, I did random number generator to figure out which Bond movie I'm watching next. Die Another Day, it's not one that I saw in theaters, but it's one that I've seen since like 2002, 2003. I watched it pretty close after it came out. And yeah, I've seen it many times, so I'm very familiar with Die Another Day. Pierce Brosnan's last James Bond film. I love Pierce Brosnan. And yeah, my response or my review of that movie might not be exactly what most people think. But yeah, you'll see that on the next one. And so this review is shorter than the last one. For Your Eyes Only, I feel like I had a lot more to say. For this one, Octopussy just feels like a run-of-the-mill, like, 70s, 80s Bond where they're just like, sure, try this in there, try that in there, see if that works, whatever. And like I said, there's some good action sequences. And Roger Moore has another good action sequence where he's sliding down stairs and he's got a AK-47. I thought that was pretty cool. That felt like Bond to me. But yeah, really, you won't get my full in-depth, like, how I see these movies until I do the rankings, which I can't wait for. But this is just a quick review right now, so that's it. And yeah, like, subscribe, and if you're a Bond fan, yeah, let me know how you feel about this movie. Like I said, I've only seen it once, so I don't know, maybe it gets better on multiple viewings, but as of right now, I'm like, yeah, it's okay.